What's happening, everyone? Welcome to the Sportscast. It's me, Andy. We've got Gary. We've got Musk. We are in the feathers. By the way, it's had a bit of a refurb, so get down this weekend and check out the new look. Also, this weekend, if you come down on Friday, you've got Tom Cartledge. He's going to be playing tonight. And then on Saturday, you've got Forest Chelsea, which is the 12:30 kickoff. Music to be confirmed. And then on Sunday, you've got the big one, Liverpool against Man United. And there's also going to be some music on after it. So big thank you to the Feathers. Also, big, massive thank you to Peter Jackson and Hill Dickinson for sponsoring the podcast. If you haven't already, go back and watch their episodes. They come on and spoke about how Everton's new stadium, the new Hill Dickinson Stadium, got named, how the deal came about, and their ambitions for the future. So again, really big thanks to them. Right, we've been chatting, me and the lads, and apart from a look forward to the weekend, obviously big game, Liverpool United. Who have Everton got? City, oh yeah, it's the Manchester Merseyside derby. We obviously will touch on that. There's fucking nothing really to reflect on, is there? Really?
No.
I think, right, I've made a couple of points in this. When it's International Week, I just think people come up with just stupid stories to just kind of fill. And I get it, listen, I get it. But one of the things, I love Talk Sport, I love listening to Simon Jordan and all them. But I hate how much gets made of England's games, right? So England played Latvia, done a little bit of working out, right? And I just want you to, I know sport is different to business, but if you read this story in the Financial Times, right, it'd be embarrassing. So Latvia's playing squad, according to the Flashscore app, was 5 million. England's,
the cost of their playing squad.
The cost of their playing squad was 5 million. England's was 600 million. Right, so England win 5-0, and it's spoken about, I think, far too much. It's like me going, hey, have you heard about it? Costa has outsold Riley's Cafe this month, you know. Hey, the sales are like, they're absolutely blowing them out the water. Well, yeah, because that's just one cafe in Bootle compared to Costa. You know, if that was a story in the Financial, no one would fucking be arsed, would they?
No.
Do you know what I mean, though?
Yeah.
It's not even comparable, 600 million to 5 million. I don't chat
Or some sprinter who goes the Everlast once a week and does some training, gets smoked on the,
by Usain Bolt.
On Litherland by Usain Bolt. Yeah.
Why is there anyone asked? I mean,
it's expected, isn't it? It's an expect. I mean, I think it's.
I was
actually going to mention England. It's a funny point, and it's definitely relevant. I just think it's. I think with England, obviously they've called the job in the past the poison chalice, haven't they? And it's like you've got so much talent, you've got so many egos, you've got so many opinions of who should be playing, and you know, I think it's been traditionally difficult to get that blend, hasn't it? I think it is interesting the way that Thomas Tuchel's gone about it, and he's been really like forthright in his opinions of how a winning squad should be assembled. And that 600 million you quoted there could have been a billion if you put the players in that have been left out, or that couldn't have been played. So, although, yeah, you're spot on, it shouldn't be fucking, lauded that we've beat Latvia 5-0.
In business sense,
but they've been efficient about it.
In the business sense, it's the equivalent of a business turning over £1.5 million a year, or turning over £227 million a year.
Wow.
So, the other big news that's come out this week, and this obviously has been in the planning a bit longer, is a salary cap. Again, I just think another absolutely pointless story when I think every man and his dog would, I imagine, know what's going to happen. It's not going to come into play. Why, right? Let's just play, devil's advocate. Let's just say they do come in and they say, right, everyone, we're going to limit the spending, right? All these billionaire American owners, is it just going to go back to them, or are they going to say, you know what, lads, because of this salary cap, all the tickets now are only £10 a ticket, or you know your LFC tops that you want to buy that are now 70 quid or whatever, they're only 20 quid. So with this money that they save, if this salary cap comes in, what's going to happen? Is Sky going to go, your TV deal now isn't £100 a month, it's only 20? So they want this salary cap. Where's the money that they're going to save? Where's that going to go?
Well, a hard salary cap just doesn't work, does it?
No, it's impossible.
Very few people benefit from a hard salary cap, apart from potentially or supposedly evening up the playing field, but it just doesn't happen because they'll find ways around it. And it actually isn't fair, to be honest, a hard salary cap, because going back to your analogy of a cost there that's been built up over years and franchises and strategic thinking, some cafe can just pop up and go, sounds, we deserve to be alongside you. No, you don't. Because you haven't built
great
up.
point there, actually,
you haven't built up that revenue. You haven't built up that reputation. You haven't. That's not something overnight. Despite the fact that at times we, as an Evertonian, I think the outside of what's considered the big five or big four now, it's hard to break through that. It's still relevant. You know, they haven't just turned up and rocked up and went somewhere here. Abramovich's Chelsea probably broke that mold because they did almost skip a chapter or two by getting stupid money overnight. City to some extent, but City still done it. I've done it over 25 years now. No, it's not an overnight job anymore. So
well, this salary cap, for those who haven't heard about it, the idea is whoever finishes bottom of the league, you look at their salary cap. So for argument's sake, let's say it's 100 million. That would mean that the next season you get 5 times that. So you get every club in the Premier League could spend 500 million, and that's spread between transfers and wages. So
all that's going to lead to is just ridiculous turnover every summer, because the team that's won the league, who might have been working off a £700 million turnover, suddenly have to get rid of a load of players and like.
But you say that again. It's only came out today as we're recording this morning. It's not as the Premier League apparently, with regards to a ratio, isn't as bad as some other leagues.
Not now, it's not.
No, so I think, for example, Man United's salary might be about 300 million, I think it is, or 350. So that would mean they'd have 150 million to spend, which you think actually, do you know what I mean? That might actually be okay, a 500 million cap. Because I think the team who finished bottom last year had 150 million. So it would mean Man United would be okay. So I just think it makes big headlines, doesn't it? But I just think it's ridiculous.
But the team that's finished bottom, how are they getting how are they multiplying their turnover by 5 times? Like just because they've got that wiggle room doesn't mean they're going to be able to achieve it or spend it, does it?
No. It's just,
it's not like the intention of this cap is to try and make the league more competitive and mean that any team on a given, like NFL do it to allow, like through the draft and everything, and allow the teams that are on the bottom to pick up a few players and suddenly elevate themselves to being at the top, almost like that. So I don't think a hard salary cap does that. I think a soft salary cap similar to the NFL could work.
But you know, even if they done percentage of each team and each player or something like that, they done it maybe more on an individual basis or something. I don't know. I don't know the answers to it, but I just laugh at the idea of an agent sitting down with a player going, yeah, you know, the last year we got you for 300 grand a week. Can we put you on 100 now? Like, no team, no one's gonna accept this. And also, if you're a player,
a soft salary cap doesn't do that though. It forces teams to be a bit more pragmatic and think about where they're putting their investments. So you can still play a player a stupid amount of money, but you've got to then make up for it by more young players or academy players coming through, which give you the benefit.
That's what I mean. If they done on an individual basis like that for teams, I think that would be better.
That's what I mean. I just don't think a hard salary cap is ever going to be. And let's not forget, this is a, you know, it's a diplomacy. The Premier League is...
Yeah, they need 14 votes.
They need votes. It's just not going to happen. They're not going to get the 14 votes on a hard salary cap.
Yeah.
I just don't think... it doesn't allow, actually, teams who have got ambitions of exponential growth to go on that journey. So...
And you know what? I think it's quite competitive at the moment. I think, listen, you know, I don't think anyone can definitively say who's going to win the league this season. You know, you look at Liverpool, everyone was saying Liverpool, they've just been beat by Chelsea. Chelsea are looking all right in parts. Arsenal are now seemingly the new favourites. City, I think, are going under the radar.
I think since PSR or the FFP rules have come in, the gap has got bigger. I don't think there's any question about that.
But you don't think the likes of Palace, who are doing really well, Bournemouth have had decent seasons, you know?
But yeah, they've had decent seasons in relation to getting into the top 6 or the top 8.
Villa.
Nowhere near. And anyone who does touch that top 4 gets pushed. Like Villa have been put firmly back in the place by not being able to spend after they got into the Champions League. And that's obviously an impact to UEFA as well, UEFA's rules as well as the Premier League rules. But all of those kind of sustainability PSR type calculations just don't work, because the minute that you do invest, you've then got to take 2 steps backwards the next season, unless suddenly you've just inherited 100,000 extra fans that are going to be spending.
I get that. My only argument to the likes of maybe Everton and clubs that have got a bit of a gripe at the top 4 or the top 6, whatever you call it, there's always going to be, though, someone who has to finish, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th type thing. It's like you can only make it so competitive.
No, I'm not being bitter about the fact that we haven't won things for a while or we've not been up there. I'm just saying it's just impossible, even if you do penetrate or have a good season and invest really well. The only way that you can stay up there under PSR rules is to sell your best players to then try and do it again. And that's the only way Brighton have been able to do it. And that's not a model that's going to allow you to catch up, is it? Because you're always behind. You're always one step behind because you have to sell your best players to the best teams to then
you need to almost have like 2 or 3 almost lucky seasons, don't you? Where you'd have
and that's it.
You'd have like a Mo Salah who's just like outperforming
and that's going
himself.
Back to the business analogy. That's not how business or life works. If you get a good leg up, you have a really good financial year. You can then get investment from other parties. You can then go again. You just can't do that in the Premier League. So that's why it's just not fair, or and that's why it's thrown about a lot. There's a gap you just can't bridge because these, certain clubs call it like almost like a mob. It's like mob rules. Like, nah, you're not sitting at the table. You're not welcome here. So yeah, I think going back to your analogy around England and comparing it to business and everything, those types of rules wouldn't wash in business. You'd be like, behave as if you're not going to allow us to do this. So
one of the other things that came up as well when I put the questions out to people to speak to, this idea again, it got floated around again a little bit about the idea of games being played abroad. So Premier League games being played abroad. I know Barcelona are going to be doing it this season, aren't they? I think Italy have been spoken about now. Now, again, they're doing it because their leagues aren't as wealthy as the Premier League. They've got reasons for it. I don't think, well, I'm going to backtrack actually. I think it possibly could happen, going back to what we've just said then about the rules between owners. So I think there's 13 or 12 or 13 American owners in the Premier League at the moment. If that goes to 14 and those 14 American, they've got enough to get the vote. So I think it could happen. I just think though, it just makes the competitive nature of the game. It sends it off, because how can you have, let's say for example they have Liverpool Man United at Old Trafford, but they have the Liverpool Man United game in Oklahoma. Like, do you know what I mean? The 12th man's a big part of Liverpool and Anfield. How is it the same competitive edge if one game's at Old Trafford and the other one's in Dallas?
The biggest difference between the Premier League, money aside, and all the other leagues you talk about is the passion of the fans and the intensity and the atmosphere. That just goes away. That's the product of the Premier League. That's why for me, it's just not going to wash.
Yeah.
And even if it trials, it's not going to work, because again, you're going to get fans going, okay, well, I've been to every game now for the last 20 years, and now you're taking me out of it.
Expecting me to pay bloody,
it's just not
couple of grand.
I don't think it's going to happen. If it does happen, there'll be uproar, and I just think, there's an element where you go, owners' clubs should be able to play the games where they want, provided it's safe and this, that, and the other. There's an element of that. But I just don't think the product, I don't think the Premier League needs it. I don't think the fans want it.
No.
Doesn't need it on any level. I just don't see how the league or it seems beneficial.
And if you are that much of a big fan and you lived in New York and, you were a diehard Liverpool fan or whatever, you'd make it like a bit of a once.
You just nailed it though. The biggest factor is people all around the world tune in to watch Premier League games no matter what. We don't need to play a game in Pakistan or Iran or bloody, Saudi Arabia or Korea to get people to tune in. They do it anyway. La Liga do, Serie A do, Bundesliga do. People don't watch them leagues.
And individuals, you've seen it.
That's what the NFL do. That's why the NFL come over here. They've got a huge American audience. They haven't got a huge global audience.
But you've seen people, as part of a holiday, they'll do a once-in-a-lifetime trip. They go, I've always wanted to come to Liverpool to go and see Everton or Liverpool, So people do, fans. I've done it. I went to Argentina. I went to see Boca Juniors. I've always wanted to see them. I wouldn't expect Boca Juniors to come and play in England I can go and see them.
That's actually a good point. I don't know where the government step in here, but there's definitely an potential economic impact and and tourism and stuff like that. So yeah, for so many reasons, it's just not necessary, is it?
That was one of the other things.
It wouldn't. By the way, it wouldn't surprise me if it was like the Community Shield ends up getting played there. So they've gone, we've done that.
I wouldn't be bothered.
I wouldn't be bothered by that. Either.
Exactly. So
I think there's a compromise.
The fans over here aren't that arsed, but then you're still giving 9 times out of 10 2 Prem teams over to America for one game.
Done that to a
pain in the arse, like
tournaments, haven't they, in the summer, which have now become, there's almost like 3 Premier League tournaments.
Yeah,
we had one, didn't we?
Yeah.
So that's just a slight step on from that, isn't it? And I wouldn't be against that because the Charity Shield or the Community Shield is at times a glorified pre-season friendly, isn't it?
Another one that was spoken about or got asked by questions, Ian Foley, he said Cape Verde qualifying for the World Cup with a population of 550,000.
Did you see the goal though?
No.
Oh, there's a conspiracy, and it was like this African page that posted it, and the player from the Cape Verde just hits a ball, like punts a ball upfield, and it's literally like a half volley clip, as if he's passing it back to the keeper, and the keeper just lets it go under his legs. It's bang on.
Really?
It's bang on, honestly.
So what's the team that lets the goal go in?
I can't remember. It was 1-0, and that allowed them to qualify.
Wow.
It was bang on, honestly.
I mean, on the whole international, we don't really cover it much, do we? I just think it needs a bit of a revamp, doesn't it? I know they're talking about making it into like a similar Champions League format and that, but
I think they should have, like we do at European competitions, like they do in South America with the Copa Sudamerica and the Copa Libertadores, and we do it with Champions League and Europa League and Conference League. That's where it should be. I think it's actually worked, that Nations League, because you're seeing teams like San Marino having a half-decent game. Faroe Islands have actually got more competitive because they've had games against other teams that they can actually beat. Gibraltar aren't that bad anymore, aren't as bad as they were in the past. But it's only because they're getting a chance to compete and to actually try and win a game, as opposed to try and not get beat by 8 or more 0.
yeah.
So I think that there needs to be different levels of the competition. I mean, every other co-efficiency has done it, and FIFA have actually done it themselves with other regions. So I just don't know why they haven't done it on a national level yet.
It seems like the main thing that they're focusing on is just going, well, we'll do 64 teams, get more teams to go to the actual World Cup, and that doesn't benefit many countries at all.
No, and again, if you're from that country, just going to travel to another country just to watch your team get spanked.
Yeah.
No. Like, and if you're in the country of the host nation, you've got half-filled stadiums, like 6,000 going to a game, and we've seen it in the last World Cup. So, yeah, I think the sooner they address that, and let's host it in a nation that would never have a chance of getting a World Cup or European Championship. Host it there, and stadiums where it's 10, 15, 20,000, and they're still filling the stadiums because it's reasonable. So,
Do you know the thing on a personal aspect, and I linked this, I remember saying this a couple of years ago about the women's game, and it's like, people want you to be like all up for supporting England and all that, right? I get that. So I go every week to watch Liverpool, right? But then they want you then to go every week to watch the women's game as well, and then they want you to kind of go and support England as well, and it's like, where's everyone getting all this money to go and support every tournament and everything, and you know what I mean, and all, it's like constant. There's got to be, you need a break from football as well, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, you do, yeah. And
that's why I sometimes, the international break is sometimes like, you go to that, there's no footy on, but I'm also like...
And then your mate bars an on-league club.
And then you get dragged to Southport instead.
and then Everton decide that the ladies are going to play at
that's what I mean, and it's
stadium, and it's like, I've got to bring my daughter because she hasn't been the match yet. They find a way to pressure you, don't they, as well.
Another little debate I thought which we could get into and have a bit of a laugh over, which I actually think it's really funny when I've done a bit of like research into it, come up with some good stuff.
When ChatGPT done a bit of research for you.
Yeah, basically, yeah. I forget right. So I want to shout out who said it. Oh, by the way, just this morning, Pauline Tay said there's an 80-year-old woman who completed an Ironman in Hawaii. That's some doing that. Hawaii's the hardest one in Kona as well.
Wow.
So where was it? Who said it? Biggest fall from grace. I'm just trying to. Yeah. Yark Ubu is his name on Instagram.
Yark Ubu, yeah.
Yark Ubu. He said, Lance Armstrong, is this the biggest sporting fall from greatness? It's really interesting. So I had a little.
I don't know. He somehow found a way to own it now, Lance Armstrong, and he like...
Do you remember when it came out, though, and it was like the Oprah Winfrey interview and all that?
Yeah.
It was like... I don't know, I remember just being absolutely glued to the TV.
But he found a way to own it, though, didn't he? Like, I don't know about you, but my perception is now, he was a great cyclist. He obviously got kind of pulled into the drugs thing from pressure and through, like, mental health and all that. But I still don't think of him as, like, just the drug cheat. I still think him as, if someone says to you, greatest cyclist of all time, it's whether you say it or not, it still comes to your mind, doesn't it?
I think what's helped him is that many other cyclists have come out.
I've said it's doping, that's just a part of cycling, yeah.
And it's like, and then he's kind of come out and, like you said, owned it and went, look, we all doped. I was just the best at it.
Yeah, and that's why I wouldn't say it is the greatest fall from the biggest fall from greatness.
As I was looking into it, and it'd be great to hear your opinions on it.
I'm not having that first one either.
It'll be great to get your opinions on it. I think it's hilarious, and this is not just sport; it's in life. It's the hypocrisy of people. It's all right for some people to do something, and then if someone else does it, it's like, oof. I mean, women would say, you know, if a lad sleeps with 100 women, he's a legend. If a girl sleeps with, she's a slag. That's the kind of, like, the hypocrisy that goes on in everyday life. In sport, it's the same. So this kind of came a little bit like, you could even relate it a little bit to what happened in the golf last week, where the crowd are giving Rory a bit of stick. You know, they threw a beer over his wife. It's like, at what point are things okay? Oh, it's like a bit of banter, a bit of golden. And at what point is it, nah, you fucking can't do that. Do you know what I mean? So, and I think it's similar when you talk about fall from grace. So, for example, let's just look on Rory for a second. It's like, so giving Rory loads of shit and throwing beer at his missus. Is that okay? Is that yes or no? Is that are we allowed to, like?
That's not okay. No,
that's not okay.
I think in life that's not okay is not okay in sport.
All right, but then when 40,000 people are saying Victoria Posh Spice takes it up the arse.
It's not okay though, is it?
But it's funny though, isn't it? And it's like, it's almost accepted in football, isn't it? That's what I mean. So it's like, who was affected more? Rory's wife having a beer thrown at her, which didn't really get her, but it, you know, got a little bit. Or Posh Spice sitting at home singing, listening on the TV to 40,000 people singing Posh Spice takes it up the arse. Who's it more harsh on? Because one's deemed unacceptable, throwing a beer, but the other one's deemed, that's a bit of a laugh.
It's probably more harsh, the chanting, because clearly there's a majority of people in there who are enjoying that and mocking you, whereas that one person
can be isolated.
Yeah.
It's like he's been...
That's what I mean. It's like...
I don't know where you're going with this, though, in relation to the question itself.
Because, so for example, first one that comes up on ChatGPT is Tiger Woods' fall from grace. Now, there's a great comedian, right, who does a bit on this.
No, it's all right. I don't want to see the others because there's one I've got. I think
so. There's a comedian, right? I suppose people would say Tiger Woods' fall from grace is obviously the greatest golfer of all time.
Again, I don't think it's fall from grace. Like,
well, you'd say though in everyday life, you know, cheating on your wife 1 million times isn't a great look, is it?
Not a great look, but what are we talking about here? Are we talking about the person or the athlete? He was talking about Lance Armstrong because, you know, he got kicked out of cycling, he got whatever, stripped of all his titles.
But doing something in your personal life, does that kind of, your legacy in sport, does that affect it though?
That's what I mean. Lance Armstrong's relevant because it was to do with his performance, and that was what it was that stripped him of his titles and essentially ruined his legacy.
But then it comes down to the crime then, doesn't it? So it's like Lance Armstrong took drugs and cheated. You're saying it's
that's directly linked to his sporting accolades.
And I think that can suggest, and obviously we've spoken to them, that can suggest that he's not as good a cyclist as people thought he was, or all those titles were illegitimate. Yeah. You can't say that just because...
So you think Tiger Woods, despite being a serial shagger, no one can touch him?
No, absolutely not. No.
Okay.
Best golfer of all time by a distance.
There's a great comedian, honestly, if you just YouTube it and find it, right, there's a comedian who does a thing and he goes, my friend's wife hates Tiger Woods. And I said, you know, why do you hate him? And she went, he cheats on his wife all the time. And he says, I know, but, you know, without bringing it up, you know, Johnny cheated on you, you know, didn't he once? And you forgave him. And she went, yeah, but Johnny cheated on me once and we've worked through it and it's fine now. Tiger's cheated on his wife, you know, thousands of times. And the comedian goes, listen, Johnny, for those who don't know him, is fat, ugly, bald. He's had one chance to cheat and he's fucking took it. Tiger's had like 1 million chances and he's only slept with 1,000 of them. So it's like, you know, your husband's got 100% cheat rate. And anyway, so, okay, so that's the first one done. So the scandal was obviously, it came in 2009, affairs, divorce. He went to rehab, public meltdown, lost sponsors, injuries. But again, it was all away from playing. So we're not going to judge him on that.
He's also achieved more than anyone else had in golf at that point. So he's like undisputed.
Okay. This will throw a spanner in the works. The next one, Oscar Pistorius, known as the Blade Runner, greatest Paralympic athlete of all time. His misdemeanors came again off the track, but his misdemeanors a little bit more serious. He didn't shag around, well, he might have, but he also killed someone, his Mrs. Reva Steenkamp. So does that then take away what he done on the track?
No.
Really?
No.
He's still held in high esteem, even though he shot his missus.
I don't know. I don't hold him in. It's hard for me to...
I was going to go as it fancy dresses him, you know.
Look, again, I
That's what I mean.
I can't say that Tiger Woods is not. I mean,
it's a funny debate because it makes you backtrack a little bit, doesn't it?
I didn't. I think it's different for me because I never personally watched Oscar Pistorius run, and as bad as that might sound,
no, but he was like admired around the world, wasn't he? Like, come on, he's running. Yeah, look, he was the first Paralympian to go in the Olympics.
Yeah, for what he done on the track, then yeah, I don't think, again, if you ask me to name, and this is more my ignorance, if you call it that, of successful Paralympians and not being as up to date as should be. Someone said to me, best runner, I'd probably say Andy Grant and Oscar Pistorius. That's all I'd know.
But my point is, and I'm not being serious with you, but the point is already the hypocrisy of...
Yeah, so let me...
let me just say this a minute. The hypocrisy of you going, Tiger Woods is still a legend because all his misdemeanors came off the sporting field.
So those two...
and the same thing happens to Oscar, but because his misdemeanors off the field were a bit more serious, then he's not thought of.
I think you could have more of an argument with Oscar Pistorius because you could suggest that he'd not done everything he could. Tiger Woods, I don't think have achieved any more than he did.
Oscar Pistorius was pretty successful on the track, lad.
Yeah, but not over the period that Tiger Woods was. I know you can't.
He can't in the Olympics, can he?
But how many years was it? I don't think you know. But I
don't know.
It wasn't like 3-4 Olympics, was it? We were talking about Steve Redgrave that smashed all the records he did, and it was on the verge of not being able to walk anymore, and he, robbed a bank or something. You wouldn't be saying Steve Redgrave wasn't a fucking a top Olympian, would you?
No, but
just give me one before you scroll down. He might be on there. First one that come to mind for me was Mike Tyson.
He's on there.
All right, well, the reason I think Mike Tyson is more relevant than the ones you've got in there is he could have been and should have been the best ever. But the reason he isn't considered the best ever is because his out of the ring stuff and all the things that went on his personal life affected his boxing clearly and disrupted his career and turned him from the most exciting whatever boxer into a bit of an egg case. Yeah. That's what he was considered. Even in the ring, he was considered an egg case. When he was a young fighter, he wasn't considered an egg case. He was considered an absolute monster and a scary man.
So it's more than unfulfilled potential. It's unfulfilled potential is misdemeanors.
I think that's what more defines the greatness. And I think number 3 is in there.
So what we'll do at the end, we'll kind of rank these then. So the third one is Diego Maradona. Again, someone you could argue same as Mike Tyson. Did he 100% fulfill his potential?
I don't think so, no. And that's scary because he's still considered one of the best
ever, isn't he? Yeah.
Ever, yeah.
So it is off the field stuff as drugs.
Sorry, with that, could you argue, and we've had it from the England players in that infamous game in against Argentina. Was it 86? Wasn't it 86? Wasn't it?
The handball. Yeah.
A lot of them players are going, he was just in a mad, he was off his cake, weren't he, as well?
Yeah, there's the 90 World Cup as well, where he runs to the camera.
Could he have been, could them drugs have been positively influencing his performance?
Maybe. I mean, would you say Maradona had a fall from grace? I mean, you look at his post-playing career, he was lauded wherever he went. Argentina win the World Cup in Qatar, he's front and centre of it, so it's like...
Yeah, I think there's still an argument to go. Again, with Maradona, if you say greatest players of all time, he's getting in everyone's top 5, isn't he? So
yeah, and I don't think people think he's had a fall from grace, really.
No.
Or a fall from greatness. Next one, Ben Johnson. Never even heard of him. No?
Okay.
In 88 Seoul Olympics, he crossed the line in 9.7 seconds, pure power, then days later stripped of it for doping.
You can get loads of American sprinters in there, though, as well, can't you?
Yeah, I want to give him a bit of a pass because I think...
O.J. Simpson is a fucking...
O.J. Simpson, I mean, obviously, I've seen a few documentaries on him. It was the trial of the century, dubbed his double murder trial, made him the most infamous athlete on earth.
So, O.J. Simpson is an interesting one, and I guess we're in a different position to the Americans. If you ask me about O.J. Simpson, that's the first thing.
Yeah, agreed.
If you ask me about Maradona,
yeah,
you think football before cocaine, just about. Yeah. If you ask you about Mike Tyson, I think they're hands in hand. Maniac, boss boxer. I think if he's asked Tiger Woods, it's golf way above the others.
I think that's a little bit more being from England, but I agree. It's like that's the first thing you think of, innit?
Yeah.
And that
George Best.
see if he's on here. The other one, we've got Mike.
Sam Allardyce. That's brilliant. That's a brilliant one.
So the others are Mike Tyson. We've mentioned them. Ryan Giggs.
Barry Bonds is a great one.
Sam Allardyce, Barry Bonds and Ched Evans. Now, let's go. So Mike Tyson, again, we mentioned.
Giggs.
Ryan Giggs. I think you'd call as a fall from grace.
I think that's
even though it didn't affect him.
Because his career included management and coaching, didn't it? And he was becoming, as Wales manager, a bit of a, Ryan Giggs should have a top career here. And now he's just, nobody can touch him, can they?
But you could argue, though, he had a top career whilst he was doing all the shagging.
And
just no one knew.
Yeah, and again, I can't contradict myself by saying, if I think of Ryan Giggs, he's still a footballer and an amazing footballer before the other stuff.
I think he's had a fall from grace in a sense, though, that I don't, like you said, you can't really, no one can touch him with a barge
His professional
really.
career is over, isn't it?
Yeah.
In football and sport, obviously, I'm sure he's still making money in business.
But even that, though, I mean, I'm surprised the likes of like Gary Neville and that still want to work with him. I mean, who knows whether they all speak as much as maybe you think.
It's a professional relationship, isn't it? And there'll be money involved in there, and I think they're kind of tied because of that.
He hasn't been invited to the overlap, for example.
Exactly.
So they're keeping the distance from a public point of view.
He knows from a PR point of view he can't be seen mixing with them all the time. But I think people almost accept that. Because they've got this class of 92 and this fund that they all share, that they're always going to have that kind of tie.
It is a shame for him because he is the most successful Premier League player, isn't he? And I think he's to a point where if you ask anyone now, Ryan Giggs, I honestly think there's probably more people who would...
It's gritted teeth, like.
Would mention... I think women, for example, would know him now.
Oh, yeah.
He's a household name for just being a scumbag, isn't he? Rather than being one of the greatest wingers of all time.
20 years older than... the generation 10 years or 20 years above us, women, he was a heartthrob. Do you know what I mean? He was like, wow, Ryan Giggs, he's the best player. And that's a...
Sam Allardyce is a bit harsh putting him on here. I mean, he got stung, didn't he, by his agent and all that.
Really funny. Like the pint of wine or whatever it was.
He managed England one game and then was in a kind of Middle East bung, wasn't he?
Yeah, black bung.
I don't think that's kind
of... But as you were talking about that fella before who cheated once, Sam Allardyce has got a 100% record for England and some managers don't.
I don't think Allardyce, again, if you ask me what Sam Allardyce, you think, defensive manager, get you out of relegation, old school football. That's probably 6th or 7th on the list.
He also hasn't struggled for work since that.
Oh no, I think a lot of people kind of went sympathise with him. Yeah. Fucking hell, he wouldn't do that in that position. Yeah. Unless you're someone who's just like in the upper echelons of business and doesn't even need to entertain that. It was quite an innocent meeting, wasn't he? He joked about stuff.
Yeah.
He says, well, why not? I can do that. That's fine.
And also you look at someone like John Terry who got caught doing that, bringing people into Chelsea's training ground and charging them and stuff. So it's like there's levels of like the things they've done wrong. Barry Bonds, I don't know a whole lot about him.
Just the Juicehead who hit a stupid amount of home runs in the 80s, I think it was. Boston Red Sox, I think, wasn't it? Or was it the Yankees? One of the two. I think it's the Red Sox.
The last one on here is Ched Evans. Now, I'm not 100% certain. I think that that's been acquitted.
Yeah.
So this is a lad who has been, charged.
That is, even though he wasn't, a fall from grace in terms of like a mega player, he was still playing in the Premier League, I think, for Sheffield United at the time.
Yeah. And there's I think is it Mendy? Is it? I think is he?
Bernard Mendy, yeah.
There's obviously been a few players who've been wrongfully convicted.
Danny Alves.
And wow, Danny Alves, yeah.
Like there's more.
Wow.
If you Google him now, there's as many pictures of his mugshot.
Oh, that's just sent shivers. He's the most successful player ever. And a woman said he's raped me. It turns out she hasn't. Same with Ched Evans, and they've had a tremendous fall from grace.
Well, you'd have to say it's been.
Well, in a court of law, they've said no.
Law, they said no, yeah.
So you think, that's it. So in all those there, so Ched Evans, Barry Bonds, Sam Allardyce, Ryan Giggs, Mike Tyson, O.J. Simpson, Ben Johnson.
Wasn't in there?
He mentioned that there.
Oh, sorry, yeah, go on.
Ben Johnson, Diego Maradona, Oscar Pistorius and Tiger Woods, all great sportsmen in their own right. Incest and ChatGPT never put any women on there.
I've got a woman.
Go on.
Tonya Harding.
Who?
Tonya Harding. So there was a film, so Margot Robbie played her. Okay. And she was a figure skater, or ice skater or whatever.
What's it called again, the film?
It's called I, Tonya.
Yeah. It is a
and
class film, though.
basically she was going to, I think it was the 94 Winter Olympics, and she was like up there, and there was another girl who was like fighting for the same like position, and somebody clubbed this other girl in the leg and injured her, and then it turned out it was like Tonya Harding's brother-in-law or something like that.
Wow.
And like she got embroiled into it, and then
she goes off the rails, doesn't she?
Yeah. And thankfully the other girl recovered and then still got silver or something like that. But then she, like Tonya Harding, was top of her game, or one of the top of her game, and then that was it.
Yeah,
the
she
reputation
brought
was
up
gone.
in quite a rough time, wasn't she? Like a bit of and her influences weren't great, and because of that, there was like people going, we'll just get rid of the competition, nothing to do with her whatsoever.
Rather than you win by being the best, we'll just get rid of your competition instead.
And when I started this little debate, it's funny, isn't it, the hypocrisy on, there's someone there that haven't been mentioned who haven't even had a fall from grace yet have still cheated. You look at Canelo, Tyson Fury has tested positive in the past, Canelo's tested positive in the past, and they're just seeing in such a different light. Yeah, you look at poor Ben Johnson here, tested once, and everyone thinks he's, So I think in sport, we just have a
Conor
McGregor. We have a weird look on things on how, do you know what? He's not on there. I think that's the biggest fall from grace.
Conor McGregor.
Yeah.
I think there's definitely...
Sporting wise, yeah.
Yeah, because he had the world in his hands there.
Everything. He was an icon, wasn't he? He was mega rich. He was influential.
He's the one who got me into watching the UFC. And then, the rape case, which he's been charged with in a criminal sense, but in a civil court, but not criminal.
That mad saga where he was in that house in Iton for like 2 days.
Yeah. And then the rumours about his kids and his cheating on his wife and everything like that. But again, going back to your point, in fact, it did affect him out the ring because he's not been back in the ring, has he? So, throwing him in last, I think that's the biggest fall from grace I've seen, Conor McGregor.
I'm going Tyson and McGregor. Probably Tyson.
Top two, yeah. Okay. I don't think Diego Maradona's, I don't think he's had a fall from grace. I think he's still loved and respected and all around the world.
You go to Naples, mate.
Yeah. I'd say Oscar Pistorius is third, He was the greatest Paralympian ever.
Again, it sounds...
Just because you're not into one-legged fellas running, that's what it is.
It sounds disrespectful, but were there enough people who, worldwide, who were like, had him on this pedestal? I don't know. I just don't think, compared to some of the other names there, that he's...
I think Ryan Giggs has got to be probably
the
next.
worst. Well, the crime is the worst out of all of them, without doubt, and I think that's what makes it.
I think Ryan Giggs has got to be next,
and O.J. Simpson.
Ryan Giggs and OJ maybe, the next two.
O.J. Simpson, though, again, it's like...
he's on Celebrity Big Brother and everything,
could it be argued that he's more famous than he would be? Because again, we go back to the fact that, it's an American sport that he plays, so I would say outside of America, maybe 5% of the world knew him. 99% of the world probably know him now. Well, of the first or second world countries.
The other thing to think of, and that's where maybe fans come into play a bit more, and the type of person you are, it's like the crime that your favourite sportsman has done. It's kind of then, it's on you then, your moral compass to kind of go, am I still going to like him or not?
It's not a crime, but he's had a ridiculous fall from grace, hasn't he?
From where he could have been.
Yeah. Well, where he was probably rated as the best player in England. He was in that Tottenham team, like along with Harry Kane, that was just ripping it up.
But when you think about it, it's
now
like...
he can't get a club.
It's like you look at Conor McGregor, you go, am I still allowed to support Conor McGregor even though in a civil court he got charged with rape? Am I still allowed to support Mike Tyson even though he went to prison for rape? Am I allowed to, still like Tiger Woods even though he's a fucking serial cheater on his wife?
There's the athlete and the person, isn't there? I think you can still...
Respect
it's like Michael Jackson, innit?
Yeah, but I don't like that. I think it's weird how people still like his music.
You can still sing Michael Jackson songs and enjoy Michael Jackson songs.
Why can't you sing an R. Kelly song then? No one plays R. Kelly anymore. Everyone still plays Michael Jackson.
I'm sorry, mate. I still think his music was good. He was a terrible
R.
person.
Kelly was convicted as well.
But I still think his music doesn't mean he wasn't a talented musician just because he's an absolute wrong'un. I understand. We don't celebrate him, and I would be playing Ignition out my car. So it's not a good look, is it?
While doing the school run.
And it's not funny, but you know what I mean? Even we can laugh at it is because
I just think it just fascinates me. Like, and I'm not saying you're right or wrong, but it just fascinates me how we it's like he's okay because he's got great music, even though he slept in a bed with Macaulay Culkin. That's okay.
But it's more so. I think,
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
But he's not okay because he did groom loads of girls.
No, but also it makes R. Kelly's music makes it even worse, doesn't it? Because so many of his songs were like love songs, which are now creepy.
Yeah, weird, Nancy songs. Yeah, but then you again less serious about bloody crimes like rape. It's like you can go, oh yeah, he's an absolute scumbag here for cheating in the 100 metres, and he's took someone else's moment away every 4 years of winning a gold medal. He should be shunned from the sport. And then you go, yeah, well, Canelo juiced up on beef and he's still great and everyone loves him. It's like, hang on a minute, you're slagging him because he just won a gold medal when he shouldn't have. But we still all support Canelo. I think he's the greatest ever.
Line. We spoke about that before, haven't we? But he hasn't, whether it's bang on or not, he hasn't actually been found guilty of. Canelo hasn't been found guilty of using performance-enhancing drugs categorically, has he? He's got off with it. So
do you know one person, and we move on then, do you know one person who I think, and again this is all rumours before, one person I think gets off quite scot-free with his misdemeanours. Yeah, Canelo, I've been caught many a time with my misdemeanours in the past, none which of a series of what we've been speaking about, by the way. Rio Ferdinand.
I've got him on my list.
Failed, he missed the drug test, and there was strong rumours that he was obviously playing away a lot, and when his wife was poorly and passed away. Now you think, that's what I mean, you compare them to Tiger Woods and Rio and you go... Wayne Rooney. And it's like, I just think it's fascinating how, depending on maybe if they're a funny person or whether they're successful, they get judged completely different. Interesting debate, isn't it? It'd be interesting to know what your falls from graces are and what you think. Another one which might also cause controversy, and I'm going to try my best not to throw Gary under the bus with this question, but I'm only going to bring it up because Everton clapped back at Lee Dixon on Twitter, which I think
they did to me.
Did they?
They did to me, remember?
Everton Football Club?
Everton Football Club.
Tweeted you?
The weekend
after
of
all
that.
them videos come out, Everton put a tweet on with our keeper, Jordan Pickford.
Oh, that was it, yeah. Did they at you though, did they?
Across the park, yeah.
Wow.
Did they?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So we didn't even get any credit for that?
No, because it was like, I ended up getting dug out as an Everton fan who's, anyway.
You made a really good point, by the way, but anyway, we won't go back into that. So what happened was...
We can do, but I'd rather not.
Lee Dixon basically said, why has no one ever come in for Jordan Pickford? Is he really like top keeper and should be at a top club? Everton then clapped back and said, we are a top club, 8 or 9 league titles, so many FA Cups, blah, blah, blah. I think the big question is, one, as a big club, well, listen, Everton are a big club, right, I'll say that. They haven't been a big club in the last 20, 30 years, have they?
Those clubs we were talking about before is what you're talking about.
Two things for me, right, on that, and I'm going to leave it after that. One, I agree with Everton. However, I think what Lee Dixon was getting at is, as you say, like a team that is winning the league every year. Like, why didn't he attract one of them? Two things for me is goalies, successful goalies, and you look down the years, the ones who stood the test of time, very rarely move clubs more than twice in their career. David James maybe being the exception, but David James admittedly never dominated the England shirt like Jordan Pickford did. Seaman, Shilton. To go back the list of England goalies, the one thing that kind of follows them is consistency with the club, staying with the same club, being in a consistent environment, etc., etc. I think just Jordan Pickford massively values his status as an England goalie, and he probably has thought about every potential move down the years, whether it's through his agent or through rumours, and thought, could I potentially get dropped? Could I potentially have a mare when I go there and lose my...
Is that a lack of ambition though?
I don't know, I'm not...
Don't know.
Possibly.
Ask Trafford. Trafford's gone to Man City this summer. He thinks that he's in line to be the next England #1, and City have gone straight away. Actually, we want Donnarumma now.
And now, not only is his England career in tatters, his club career is potentially in tatters. So I think for a goalie with that one position on the pitch, it's so risky making a move. And I think there's so many examples that you can see of that. User bought so many keepers down the years before you kind of got Rayner and maybe even to a certain extent Dudek. You've had some proper Kirkland. Kirkland was brilliant. He never ever recovered from that move to Liverpool. So I think that's a big factor, and it has been a big factor for Pickford. I think the second one is timing. I just don't think there's been that window where there's a club that needs a goalie. Pickford is having a bit of a wobble.
As a keeper, you need to have that perfect merry-go-round where someone's had a mate and they need a keeper and you're playing in your pump, really.
And you go into a team where that manager's not going anywhere for a few years. And I just don't think he's ever had that perfect alignment.
Do you think on a personal point of view from Pickford, he'll be happy? Let's just say he ends up retired and never winning a trophy. Do you think he's going to be loved on Merseyside? You know, anytime he can come to Liverpool, he'll have a beer bought for him type thing by Evertonians.
He strikes me as that kind of lad as well.
He's known
who loves being loved. Whether
you debate it till the cows come home, he's now officially England's best ever goalie from a statistical point of view. All right, he hasn't won the World Cup, and I think if he won something with England, I think he'd just be like, I'm done.
So he's the best ever goalie.
Well, he is statistically.
Every
statistic, most clean sheets, most consecutive clean sheets, most clean sheets in tournaments, most appearances.
I think that comes back though. It was a lot different back in the days of Shilton and everyone else, wasn't it? As in and Ray Clemens, as in they didn't play as many games then. I don't think they played the likes of fucking Latvia back then.
I mean, but he's still probably got another 4 or 5 years. Name another keeper probably who's close to taking the shirt off him. Maybe the lads at Palace. What's his name? Henderson, okay, but I don't think anyone gets near him at the moment. I think you've seen that in other England games. So,
also, you look at like the top clubs, if you like, they've all got pretty decent keepers, haven't they? Really? And
I think that's another. I guess go back 30 years ago, there wasn't any foreign goalies that really we had over here that made much of an impact outside of the British Isles, anyway.
And I think a club like Liverpool have shown the importance of a really good world-class keeper. It goes from being like also-rans or nearly teams to being, we got Alisson and now we've won most things.
Since if you include Clements as a British Isles, you haven't had a good British goalkeeper, have you, since him? David James struggled, Kirkland struggled. You have had to get international keepers to...
I can probably name our keepers and the ones we've had. Do you know what I mean? Going back to like 2000, you know what I mean? It was... Kirkland, Sander Westerveld for a bit, wasn't it? Or maybe it was just a bit before him.
Yeah, out of the teams that have won the league, though, there's only David Seaman and Tim Flowers, isn't there? Who are English goalies. The rest of them, Schmeichel, Peter Cech, Arsenal had Lehmann and what's his name?
Do you know what does strike me though?
Van der Sar for United.
How Everton are like so, both the fans and the club are like so kind of protective over Pickford. For them to come out and clap right back at Lee Dixon.
Well, that wasn't protective of Pickford, that was protective of us, wasn't it, as a club? They were digging Everton out more than Pickford. Lee Dixon was saying, like, Pickford should have almost been playing for someone better than Everton, or should have been playing for a bigger club. I don't put the Everton thing aside. I don't think it's unreasonable to say that Pickford could have played for a team higher up in the league. I think there were moments when, if he'd have gambled, if you call it that, he could have been, I don't know, Man United's number one.
I think that's
fair to say. United have struggled for goalies. Arsenal have had a little bit of a wobble when they bought, what's his face, who's now reserve keeper at Newcastle. What's his name?
Ramsdale.
Yeah. So there have been times when if he backed himself,
especially that season when he half kept you up type thing, and I think that he signed a new deal, I think, didn't he, a couple of years ago?
Yeah, look,
that was maybe the sliding doors moment, maybe.
Yeah, possibly. But again, you look at what's happened to Ramsdale. That could have been him. He could have had a couple of bad games, and he has had. Listen, I've said it and he has had bad games for Everton, and I won't have it said that he hasn't. But he's obviously had a hell of a lot more good games.
I'll say something a little bit controversial, which will make me sound bitter. I think the top clubs, I'm not saying Everton aren't a big club, but I mean the clubs that are competing at the moment, they almost come down to moments, don't they? You got your Mo Salah, bit of magic. I think in moments when I think a manager. If I was a manager and I saw Pickford, the way he loses his head and he talks to the crowd and he does all this, I think if this is a Champions League final, a need-to-win game, do you want your keeper being a bit erratic? I think Evertonians will admit he is sometimes, isn't he? Yeah. I think, do you want that?
But like, equally, it's that personality as well, isn't it? Like, again, you look back at Seaman, probably an exception because we're the most boring keeper ever. But I think every other keeper's got that bit of fucking, I'm having myself about them as well. So I think it shows in different ways. Schmeichel was like the aggressor, and mean and whatever, and Van der Sar was super cool, and Reina was a bit erratic.
Although Alisson, though, I don't think is, though, is he? I think Alisson is the exception to that. He seems quite just cool as fuck, I think.
Yeah.
But no, I agree. Most keepers have got a little bit of edge to them, haven't they?
And keepers are known, like it's almost like a bit of a running joke in football circles. Keepers are mad, generally mad, aren't they? So I don't know. I know where you're getting. I know what you're getting at that because I've said it before. But he's probably produced more moments down the years of winning games,
positive ones,
saves and penalties for England and stuff than the other way around.
Right, last bit of the show, then we'll move on to the weekend, and which will kind of link into the weekend. We'll touch on Liverpool first. So the Swedish media are coming for Isak a bit and Gyökeres, basically saying, their transfer sagas over the summer and the lack of pre-season has basically hindered Sweden. Although I think the manager's coming for a bit of stick as well. I was listening on TalkSport, he's been getting absolutely slammed, their manager. So, but it's right, I think that maybe Liverpool and now Arsenal might feel the effects of it as well, who knows. That being said, Liverpool have got Man United on Sunday. Absolutely devastated. I will be missing it. I'm away. And I won't even get to see it. I'm actually on the plane when we're playing. Gutted.
Whose fault was that?
Everyone's saying it's the perfect game for Liverpool to play. They've had 3 defeats. I can't even remember the last time they've had 4 on the spin. Surely it's going to be a long, long time ago. Man United, obviously, not been great. I am still nervous, though, saying that.
Based on last season, they turned up big time last season.
I think 2 things you'd have to be. I think 1, it's such a...
Everywhere I see, though, everyone's saying it's the perfect game for Liverpool.
Such a must-win game, though, and it's against a team that obviously hate yous, and you've got a fierce rivalry with from a fan's perspective, right? Maybe certainly league position, they've been miles away from you recently. They've got an indifferent record against you, but still, I think there's been...
So the last 2 home games have been a 2-2 draw and a 0-0 draw.
7-0.
Before that, it was 7-0 and 4-0. So out of the last 5 games, there's been 3 draws, and the 2 victories we've had have been 7 and 4-0. Quite emphatic.
If you go on overall head-to-head, though?
Yeah, the overall head-to-head was...
Still, they haven't won, have they?
The last time United got a result against us...
That game, wasn't it? Was 4-3 or something?
2022. And it was... Sancho and Rashford. Fucking hell, sounds mad saying that.
Alanga set one of the goals up as well.
And Martial. So, yeah, 2022 was the last time. That was at Old Trafford.
Got to be said, though, there's not many teams who've got a good head-to-head against you in the last 5 years, is there?
No.
Form-wise, they don't look too bad, do they? At the moment, well, saying that, similar to you.
It's 50-50. They're winning one, losing one, winning one, losing one. So the teams that they've beat, obviously, I mean, they beat Chelsea, they beat Sunderland.
Away, they've been rubbish, though. Have they lost? They haven't won a game away yet, have they?
They've lost the last 3.
They haven't won a game away this season.
No, they've played, 4 games?
Including Grimsby.
They've lost 3, including Grimsby. That was a draw. They lost on pens, and they drew against Fulham.
They've lost convincingly against Brentford, convincingly against City. I think that's what people are looking at, is like, United have been dreadful away. You still have been brilliant at home, despite your form.
I just think, though, with it being United, and I just think it... I am just a bit concerned about how we're playing. And I think this international break, people could argue we come at a great time because we had 3 on the spin, almost send the players away, get them to forget about it, concentrate on something else for a week, and then come back with hopefully some fresh ideas. I don't know whether Slot would have preferred to almost have a week off and almost just keep them all, or even take them away for a few days or something and be like, right, this is clearly isn't working how we want it to. Let's rejig things. And I think Slot would have liked to have had a bit longer with them on the training ground rather than watch them all go away to the internationals.
What I've heard as well, like, and this is a lot of whispers, but
on the grapevine.
What I've heard is that, and it was looking at like there have been some tweaks in terms of obviously you can see some of the tweaks, but even in terms of the back line and where the full-backs are playing and stuff like that, I think when you're doing stuff like that and it's not quite working, you want to get some days on the training ground to try and perfect it or go back to basics. I think that's the bit he'll be most concerned about, is he's clearly made some changes, both personnel-wise and shape, that haven't worked, and then you've got an international break, you've got to come back in and somehow find a way of balancing that up.
I think one good thing about it is some of the players that were underperforming before the break have done all right on the international level. Now, obviously, again, depending on who the opposition is and all that, but say, for instance, Bradley being very indifferent for Liverpool. Sometimes he can be really good, sometimes he loses his head, sometimes he gets hooked because he's on a yellow, but then had a really, really good game last weekend. Then Gakpo scored, Salah's got his country into another World Cup. They should be now coming back going, I'm having myself again now. I can chalk that first part of the season off. Now we can see it as like...
Canate's injured, isn't he? Canate got sent home, didn't he, from France?
Yeah, but he got injured in the game, in the Chelsea game.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
I thought it was mad that he went to...
Yeah.
I don't know whether they just needed to assess them themselves.
Assess him, yeah. So is he out then?
I'm not sure.
Nothing's been said, I don't think.
Press conference
today, isn't it?
Yeah.
My only concern, right, and this has been a bit bloody negative, but let's just say we get a draw, right, which would be a disappointing result. I can see Chelsea beating Forest. I can see City beating Everton. I can see Arsenal beating Fulham, right? So then before you look at it, you're looking at Arsenal are then on 19 points. City will have jumped to 16 and Chelsea will have jumped to 14. And we'll be on 16 as well.
I mean, I think Tottenham will eventually fall away, but
Tottenham are playing Villa. So I just think all the teams around the kind of top 5 are all probably going to get points, pick up points at the weekend. And I think this could be, I just don't think this is as cut and dry as we think. I think a lot of Liverpool fans will think back to that 7-0. It was great. I was there for it. What a day that was. And because United seem to be a bit of a laughing stock at the moment, add to the fact we've bought all these players and all Liverpool fans are almost expecting that it's going to click 1 minute. I think everyone's just thinking, what a time, this is great, we're going to absolutely smoke them. And there's a little bit of me just thinking, I'd take a 1-0, 2-0.
Now, I don't watch loads of United, but in terms of the comparison between you saying about the 7-0 and the game last year, the difference from a United point of view there was that Fernandes was amazing last year against us and was shocking in that 7-0. So they need players like him to step up, and it depends on whether they've got enough of that going for them.
I think the difficulty for Amarin at the moment, particularly in the away games, and you've seen that from the form away, is that he's trying to get those forwards on the pitch as much as possible. He wants to get Sesko into form. He wants to play in Bueno. He wants to play Cunha. You can't play those 3 forwards against Hughes. They'll absolutely, Hughes will dismantle them if they try and play those 3 forwards. But yes, if you don't play one of the 3 or 2 of the 3, then you're struggling for firepower like you were last year. It's
the last thing I'll say on it, I think it's going to be dead interesting on the personnel, whether he kind of mixes up the midfield and puts Florian Wirtz in the midfield, or whether he keeps that engine room of Szoboszlai, McAllister and Gravenberch, because he knows that midfield 3 is strong.
I think it's a game for Wirtz. I think this could be I wouldn't say
what,
a game.
Would you play him?
I think you play Wirtz against these.
What, in the midfield or in the attacking line?
I don't care. I think you just play. I think midfield, if anything, because United are particularly weak in there. I think 2 of your midfielders could deal with whatever they've got in there. Particularly, I mean, the team sheet will tell you a lot. Obviously, you can't wait for the team sheet, but I'll be surprised if 2 of Sesko's going to play and Cunha or Bueno are going to play. So if one of those 2 play and Fernandes, he's been playing Fernandes deep. Therefore, I think you can afford to play 2 players against their midfield, because Fernandes isn't a deep line midfielder. He'll go and run all over the place. He'll lose his discipline. So I don't think you're going to get overloaded in the centre of the park. So I think you play Florian Wirtz against these. I think he gets a lot more joy than he has against other teams. You've got to try and play him into form, I think, against teams like United. Because a game
that's on a
personal field against United, if he gets a goal against United, for him, it'll be, wow, massive goal for me.
That's a great point. The longer this goes on and the longer you think, I can't play him, the fuck's that doing to him?
No, he's got to play. I mean? He's just been given German Football of the Year on the international break. As Muskie says, he's had some decent games for his country. He's feeling the love again from us, and then he comes back to Anfield and he's on the bench.
He's had a bit of help this week from Klopp as well, hasn't he? Klopp has said he's a generational talent, he will come good.
People are obviously close to him though, and then he's feeling the pressure and trying to give him a bit of a bit of a G up. Then you've got City, usually away to City. I mean, I think just City are in amazing form, aren't they? They've got the best, third best defence.
Yeah, I mean,
so far, and then the highest goal scorers. I just think Haaland, his goals last week, how he just shrugged that lad off.
Yeah,
he is just unbelievable,
flying.
Isn't he?
He's flying. It'd be interesting for us. I'm hoping we've got a few players back to fitness. That Jared Brandwaite, I don't think is quite ready to start yet, but it'll be a boost having him in the squad. It's tough. We've had a reasonable record against City. I'm not saying we've won many games against, but we haven't been smashed that often by them. It's always quite close.
Back to 2021 was
the last time we got it. The last few seasons, home and away, there's only been a couple of goals in it, if that. We have made things quite difficult.
Out of the last 3 games, you've got 2 draws out of them. So
So
that's at the Etihad.
Look, it's I think it's a tough one, isn't it? It's a tough one to be pinning your hopes on getting anything against City, particularly as you say the way Haaland's playing. I wouldn't call it a free hit, but I don't think Moyes will be piling the pressure onto players to go and get a result. It'll be, look, go out there, be disciplined. If we can nick one, great. If we come away with a 1-0 or a 2-0 defeat, it's not derailing us. Yeah, I'm not too concerned. I'm not going there hoping or needing a draw or a win, which is quite refreshing because I think the last few seasons we've gone there needing something. So yeah,
I think the one benefit you could have is obviously City's players coming from all over the world. And then they've got Villarreal a couple of days later.
I think we get a goal against them. And I think getting a goal against them gives us every chance. I think they probably edge it 2 or 3-1, to be honest.
Jack Grealish can't play though, can he?
No. I mean, after Charlie Alcaraz playing so well last week, I think it means he definitely plays again, which is good for him and his confidence. It'd be interesting how he goes about it, because he's either going to play Dewsbury Hall on that side and just get him to tuck in and just almost neglect that left-hand side, or maybe ask one of the forwards to just occupy the inside left channel instead. Because I think he's got to play Dewsbury Hall. I think Charlie Alcaraz will be hard done by if he doesn't play. But he did play Charlie Alcaraz a couple of times on the left as an unorthodox left-sided player. So I think he'll probably put in there Dewsbury Hall in the middle and Dye on the right. Yeah.
Has Dewsbury Hall said the suspension now, yeah?
Yeah, it was a one game suspension. Yeah. Tottenham up wearing yellow cards. Which is a joke.
Let's hope we're sitting here next week and Liverpool or Merseyside, I should say, have come on top over Manchester. My cousin Katie actually commented just saying like how important like kind of local football is. What would you fucking do if there was no Liverpool and Everton? Like what would you talk about? Because fucking England's fucking
up the port, mate. Yeah,
up the port. That's local football, though, isn't it?
Oh, local football, yeah, I know.
I just hate internationals so much. Anything else, boys?
No, I think so.
I enjoyed that little mix-up of like,
fall from greatness.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks for that. That was Yakubu. Is it Yakubu?
Yeah.
He's on. He follows me.
I can't think of his name properly. I've not got on it, but yeah.
Yeah, I haven't got his name on it. He follows me on Instagram. Seems like a good lad.
Yeah. Right, nice one everyone. Big thank you again to the Feathers, to Hill Dickinson, and for all you lot for watching. Please like, and if you do like the show and you want to get involved in the Fall from Greatness chat, please comment on YouTube, all that, share it for your friends, and we'll see you next week.